Okay.
So we're here to show you how to be fancy. Today we're going to show you just a few things to do to be fancy. Now the first rule of being fancy, here's the number one tip. Never let your pinky touch anything, because if your pinkies touch anything, you are not fancy.
Not fancy.
Now, the second thing, this works for anybody, even girls. Having a mustache makes you all the more fancier. Now, we don't have mustaches, so we're not as fancy as we could be. But someday, we will grow one. Now, first thing is we're going to show you how to pour this into here, but you can't let your pinky touch anything you're pouring. So you have to be a good waiter. If you're going to be at a party and you're going to pour drinks, then you should never let your pinky touch it, and then they'll be like, wow, your pinky's not touching it. You must be fancy. You're really good at this. So here, she will show you exactly how to do that.
I will demonstrate this.
Now here is your empty cup.
Here is the empty glass. See, my pinky is not touching it because that isn't fancy. Now if we move over here, like so, and here is our fancy drink. Okay. And we fancily take this off. See, my pinkies aren't touching at all, as you can see. Okay, and now we just fancily pour this into the glass. And now what I've learned is not to laugh while pouring it. If you laugh, you're a bad waiter. A very bad waiter.
Because really, who wants a waiter that comes up to you holding this and laughing? You would just be like, what are you doing? I would like my drink poured, not for you to laugh at me. That's not funny. I just would like a drink. So, do not laugh when you are pouring a drink.
Okay, the next thing on our agenda is if we come over here, we have this glorious fancy pizza. Now we all know that we need pizza to be fancy. So we take our fancy pizza cutter and again with the pinky, we just, cut the pizza. And if it's a big pizza, you just have to let your pinky run through it. Because that's how you're fancy.
Don't worry about any diseases you may have. That's completely normal. When you're fancy, you don't care.
Not in a care in the world. When you're fancy.
At least you died fancy.
Yep. Because if you didn't die fancy, then you have no life. You're lame. So after you cut a piece of your fancy pizza, you take your fancy spatula, you put it on your fancy plate like that, and you add some fancy ranch dressing. But I'm not going to do that because I need to heat this up in a fancy microwave. Very cool.
Now, after you have your drinks, you grab them like this, fancily, and do not let your pinky touch. Then you just drink it. Like that. So now you know a few tips to be fancy. We'll be back later and show you how more to be fancy.